Do you know about the direction lock trick, the dipping shot free kick, the position shift through ball, about preventing the wall from jumping, about using a second player for ridiculous mind games, and of course how to score from different distances and also defending these free kicks? Oh, you know all this? Good, nice, amazing. If not, you'll know it in 10 minutes. Here comes paper. Welcome everybody! Today I'll show you the ins and outs of free kicks both as an attacker and a defender. First we pick our free kick taker. Use your best one as short free kick taker and your second best, if possible, with a different strong foot as the free kick taker too. You'll see why later. Let's start with short free kicks. This here is the basic free kick that also works from further away. Use around 65 to 70% power and hold your left stick southeast to apply the curl, or southwest if you were on the other side with a right-footed player. This close to the goal, it isn't easy to consistently score because the window of success is smaller than from further away, and there is always a bit of variation. So where should you aim? It totally depends on the position, and there are so many different possibilities. In general, the further away from the goal, the longer the ball travels and curls, meaning you can aim more at the center, and vice versa. So aim more to the side, the closer you are to the goal. But don't worry, go into training mode, practice free kicks for 10 minutes and you'll easily develop a feeling for it. I'll also show you some other variations in this tutorial where the aiming is really easy. Let's head to our next free kick, the low free kick. Aim between the legs of one single player so that even if the players next to him don't jump, the ball goes through. Pick the player in the wall that is in front of the far corner of the goal. Then just slightly tap shot. I hold the left stick down, but you don't need to. There you go. If the player jumps, you score. You can also curl with the left stick here, but be careful that it doesn't go between two players or even miss the goal. So how to defend this? There are 3 ways. Number 1, you could move a player behind the wall and hold matchup. Be very careful which player you choose though, because if there's a hole in your defense, your opponent just does a through ball and scores. Number 2, which I recommend for all free kicks, manual goalkeeping, which I explain in detail in a second because that's where it gets really interesting. Number 3, if you don't like manual goalkeeping, you just prevent the wall from jumping. Only do it when it's very close to the goal though, because from further away, your opponent might try a free kick over the wall, which will then be easier as your wall won't jump. These are the official wall controls. I can't tell you which button it is though, because apparently there's some bug with the configurations going on right now. But if your players do this animation where they enlarge themselves but do not jump, that's the right button. As you see, they keep their feet on the ground, making the low free kick impossible. But don't worry, the majority won't do this. If you expect a free kick over the wall, you can also make the wall manually jump, but watch out for the correct timing. You see, only thanks to the wall jump, this shot was blocked. Now, about manual goalkeeping, which is perfect for all distances. You take control of the keeper by pressing L1 plus R3. However, don't do it before the free kick taker starts running because you don't want to show that you will be doing it. Then you have 2 options. Number 1, like here, run towards the far corner. It's risky. Prepare to turn or switch if he shoots at the other corner. The second one is moving towards the far post and switching away from the keeper just after the shot. This has the advantage that your keeper will automatically move to the ball now. Here you can see how absurdly strong manual goalkeeping actually is. He saved a shot far next to the goal. This is just a demonstration though. Ideally, you want to cover just about most of the far corner. Moving too early means you leave the other corner exposed. It depends on the distance, but starting to move the keeper slightly before the shot happens is an alright guideline. So a bit later than in my footage. You cannot perfectly cover both sides of the goal. This is why if I see someone use manual goalkeeping, the moment I get another free kick, I shoot at the keeper's corner, and if he moves again, I score. Or not. Come on, it's ridiculous. I should have scored. You get the point. As you see, this is a mind game and we're just at the beginning of this. This will get really spicy. By pressing L1 and D-pad up, you can call a second player to a free kick. This opens up a lot of possibilities. By holding L2, you control the second player and can take the free kick with him. Since he is closer to the ball, your opponent has less time to react. You can also let either of them step over the ball by pressing pass immediately after the shooting input. To do it with the second player, hold L2 while doing it. After whoever steps over the ball starts running, shoot again immediately for your real shot. This is big because you could, for example, check if your opponent will use manual goalkeeping or bait a wall jump, or you could make him think that you're checking it out, but you shoot at your first run. There's one big limitation though. As soon as either of your players runs to step over the ball, you can no longer change the direction of the free kick. So if you, for example, want to bait your opponent's manual goalkeeping and shoot in the other corner, you need to aim towards that very corner from the very beginning before you make any player step over the ball. Let's watch this free kick to see what an impact the second player can have. Yes, I monumentally failed with both aiming and power, but ignore this. Look at what happens when Messi steps over the ball. He baits the wall jump, meaning they cannot jump for Neymar's shot, which made it a lot easier for me. And secondly, Messi makes the opponent move this player away from mine. Had I expected this, I could have just threw ball there and score. You see, there is a lot of mind games you can do. Now, before we move to free kicks a bit further away, let me show you the direction or trajectory lock trick. Look at my player. Depending on where I aim, he moves to adjust the angle. This movement can tell your opponent what you're trying to do. So what you do is, you aim where you want to shoot. Then press R1 once. And then you can freely navigate, but your player will always aim at the point where you pressed R1, no matter where you're looking. Your player is moving normally again, which means you can give your opponent a false clue with this. Another free kick variant is the L1 pass into knock-on finesse shot. If you hold L1 and pass, your player will pass to the second player. If you hold L1 and L2, like I did, the second player will do the pass. That's what I do, followed by a knock-on finesse shot. If you need a guide for this shot, I'll link my ultimate shooting tutorial in the description. Let's move to free kicks further away from the goal. The basic one over the wall is no different to the close one you've already seen, except for the aiming, which is a bit more central. So around 65 to 70% input, left stick to the lower right for the curl, that's it. Now, if you really like, you could also curl the ball around the wall instead of over it. For this, you aim a bit outside of the wall. But again, every position is different, so you need to get a feeling for it, which I personally find harder this way than over the wall. Before showing you the dipping shot, let's have a look at through balls. If you see that one of your players has the space and is closer to you than the opponent, you can try a through ball. It's that simple. If it seems like there's no space or your opponent is covering, you can press L1, which makes your players shift position. This way, you can always have them move away and then press L1 again to return to a better spot. Of course, this doesn't always work and depends on your opponent's formation and what he's doing. It's also a lot harder than here in training mode, but it's a good trick to know. To defend this, just move your player into the relevant space. Next up, the dipping shot. You need a player with the dipping shot ability. You aim between two heads of wherever you want the ball to go. Then you shoot with like 95% power. Once your player is close to the ball, you press shoot again. I use the right foot as a reference here and press again as soon as it's about to touch the ground. This will do a shot that is easy to execute, but can still be a goal in many cases. Hits the wall a lot of times though. Last one for today, far free kicks. Because you can also get a very cheap advantage here. Obviously, it's too far to score consistently. Many people just do a regular pass here. You can. I don't like it because your offense is lined up static and the opponent will start pressing. Here are the two things I usually do. Number one, a through ball to the side. This is pretty safe and wins you space to cross or create a chance. Number two is what I do most of the time. I try to trade my free kick for a corner kick. This is called Pepe's Gambit all over the world. Just kidding, nobody ever said that. I use a player with good kicking power and aim at one of the sides of the goal with about 45 to 55 strength. This way, many times the keeper gives me a corner kick, which is a lot more valuable than a far free kick. Sometimes there's even a lucky deflection and you can score. Of course, the keeper will also save it many times. So if you don't like losing possession, don't do this, but pass instead. You can also change the player's runs with L1 here. Far free kicks even allow you to select a specific running pattern with the D-pad. Alright, if this video helped you, I'd love if you subscribed, liked or commented. Until then guys, take it easy. Shaka!